Today I'm at the Paper House in Rockport, Massachusetts, a house that's made almost entirely out of mostly newspaper and other paper-related products, including the inside and outside. Covered in a layer of varnish to keep it from deteriorating, it's been here for almost 100 years and it's stood the test of time, mostly from people taking care of it. Inside are a multitude of things that a normal house might have, all of which are made out of paper and newspaper. A Swedish immigrant named Ellis Stenman started the project in 1922. It took over 20 years and was more of a hobby than an actual construction. Originally, the Stenmans, Ellis and his wife Esther, lived in Cambridge near Boston, and they used this area as a summer retreat. Reading 3 papers a day, Mr. Stenman had plenty of newspapers around at his disposal, especially over the course of 20 years. And neighbors and locals donated theirs once the project started to be underway. He had a friend in Washington, D.C. who collected the foreign newspapers. The house is a traditional wood frame and roof. The wall material and the interior lining are all paper. The paper acts as an insulation and was initially supposed to be covered with clapboards, but instead was varnished, making it sturdy enough to survive over 100 years of winters. Newspapers were rolled up and varnished to make them more structurally sound for things like furniture. The desk is made entirely of the Christian Science Monitor. The cot is made of newspapers saved since the First World War. The radio cabinet, made in 1928 during Herbert Hoover's campaign, which can be seen from the newspapers it's made from. A writing desk made entirely out of newspapers that recount Charles Lindbergh's flight across the Atlantic. The bookshelf, made of newspapers from foreign countries, as well as the clock built from newspapers from all of the capital cities, were collected by a neighbor, who personally wrote a letter to each capital city and requested a paper for the house. At the time, there were only 48 states, Hawaii and Alaska, still being territories, and those are the 48 represented. He used a tool to twist the newspapers tight and glue the end before varnishing them, a fairly time-consuming project. The house was used for 5 years, during the summers of 1924 to 1929. There's no kitchen, but there was a stove in the corner where the fireplace is. It has running water, but no bathroom, which was normal because outhouses were used during that time anyway. The outside walls are 215 papers thick, which accounts to about ½ an inch. The interior of the roof is lined the same. The coating on all of the newspapers is a machine-grade varnish. It's treated yearly in order to maintain its waterproofing capability. The interior varnish is the original coating. Nothing has been added since 1942, and the porch overhang outside protects the varnish from inclement weather. The furniture was all used while the Stenmans lived here, though after 100 years, their structural integrity is questionable and therefore off limits. But they are quite heavy, considering how much paper and varnish went into making them. The fireplace is usable as well. It's made out of brick, with only the mantle being made out of paper. Approximately 100,000 copies of newspapers have been used in the construction of the house and furniture. The work was started as an experiment to see if it could be done without destroying the print, and has been proven a success both in strength and stability. If you enjoy these videos and would like early access or behind-the-scenes content, check out the description for the link to my Patreon. Either way, thanks for watching, and as always, until next time, get lost.